What is the biggest city in the world? An intriguing question that you may have thought of or maybe even know an answer to, like Tokyo or Chongqing. But unfortunately, the answer isn't that simple, because the answer to that question requires first determining what to include as part of a city, and then using those criteria for all the cities in the world to find out what's the biggest one. So let's first determine how we define a city, and then look at the top 10 largest cities. There are three main ways to limit a city. First, city proper, which is the area contained within administrative city limits. The problem with this definition is that it often either excludes areas that are a continuous part of the city because they fall out of its boundaries, or includes areas that are rural because they fall within the city limits. In fact, this is the definition that gives us the Chinese city of Chongqing as the largest city in the world with 32 million inhabitants. But in reality, only 12 million of those live in its urban area. And if you're wondering what is an urban area, well, that takes us to the second definition of a city. Urban area, it includes only built-up areas that are contiguous, thus eliminating the rural areas from being counted as part of the city. The best way to understand it is by looking at the night satellite image of a city. The lit area in the image is the urban area. And lastly, the metropolitan area, which includes the urban area previously mentioned, plus its surrounding areas, both rural and urban, that are economically connected to the central urban area. The problem with this definition is that different countries have different criteria of what is included in a metro area, which makes comparison between cities difficult. In this video, we will be using Demographia's World Urban Areas 2023 edition, which is an annual list that takes into account only the urban area of the cities, disregarding political boundaries, to look at the world's top 10 largest cities. Starting at the 10th position, Mexico City, the capital of Mexico, with 21.9 million inhabitants in 2,530 square kilometers and a density of 8,657 inhabitants per square kilometers, which makes it the largest city in the Americas. The city proper population had only 9.2 million people according to the 2020 census, which shows how big the difference between city proper and urban area population can be. At the 9th position, we have Cairo, the capital of Egypt. For now, at least, since Egypt is building a new capital to the east of Cairo. With a population of 22 million inhabitants, which makes Cairo the largest city in Africa. It has an area of 2,696 square kilometers and a density of 8,412 inhabitants per square kilometers. A satellite image doesn't only show us how dense Cairo is, but also how almost the entirety of Egypt's population lives on the banks of the Nile River and its delta. 8th place is South Korea's capital, Seoul. With 23 million inhabitants in 2,769 square kilometers and a density of 8,388 person per square kilometers. This area includes the neighboring city of Incheon and parts of Gyeonggi province. This number means Seoul is home to almost half of South Korea's 52 million inhabitants. The South Korean capital is only a few kilometers from the demilitarized zone, separating it from North Korea. But it might stop being the capital in the near future, as many ministries have already been transferred to the new capital city of Sejong in the center of the country. At 7, we have China's Shanghai with 24 million people and 4,333 square kilometers, a density of 5,549 people per square kilometers. Shanghai has the busiest container port in the world, with Shanghai Port serving more than 2,000 container ships monthly, and it accounts for a quarter of China's total foreign trade. The city is part of the Yangtze River Delta megalopolis that includes major cities like Nanjing and Suzhou, and has an insane population of around 235 million people. The capital of the Philippines, Manila, takes the 6th place, with 24 million people and 1,911 square kilometers and a density of 12,638 person per square kilometers. The city proper of Manila, interestingly, isn't the largest in the Philippines by population. That title goes to Quezon City with 2.9 million inhabitants, while Manila has only 1.8 million people, which is much smaller than its urban population. Quezon and Manila are both part of Metro Manila, which has a population of 13 million inhabitants. India's Mumbai is at number 5, with 25 million people in a 1,046 square kilometer area and a density of 24,073 person per square kilometers, which makes it the densest city in this list. The city is India's financial and commercial center and is home to the richest person in Asia, Mukesh Ambani. Mumbai is also home to the famous film industry of Bollywood. Guangzhou, the capital of Guangdong province in southern China, is in 4th place with its 27 million inhabitants in its 4,543 square kilometers, which gives it a density of 5,970 inhabitants per square kilometers. It also includes the city of Foshan as part of its urban area. Guangzhou is part of the megalopolis known as the Pearl Rivet Delta, or officially as the Guangdong-Hong Kong-Macau Greater Bay Area, which includes the biggest cities in Guangdong province plus Hong Kong and Macau, which has a whopping population of 86 million people. Some sources consider this area to be the largest metropolitan area in the world, or even the largest urban area, because of the proximity of these cities. Delhi takes 3rd place with 31 million people in 2,344 square kilometers and a density of 13,307 person per square kilometers. This includes the National Capital Territory of Delhi, which includes the capital of India, New Delhi, and its neighboring cities. Delhi is one of the fastest growing cities in the world by population and also one of the fastest developing cities. Indonesia's capital, Jakarta, is in 2nd place with 35 million inhabitants in 3,546 square kilometers and a density of 9,980 person per kilometers. Situated in Western Java, which is the most populated island not only in Indonesia but also in the world, with more than 140 million inhabitants. This is also another city that might lose the position of being the capital, with the planned new capital Nusantara already under construction in Borneo Island. And at number 1, and the 4th East Asian and the 8th Asian city on this list, is none other than Tokyo, with 37 million inhabitants and 8,775 square kilometers, with a density of 4,306 person per square kilometers, which gives it impressively the lowest density in this list. Urban Tokyo extends way beyond the limits of Tokyo Prefecture, that has only 14 million people. Tokyo in Japanese means Eastern Capital, as it sits in the east of the country on the coast of Tokyo Bay. Tokyo is Japan's capital. It houses the Imperial Palace and almost a third of Japan's declining population, and has become one of the top touristic destinations in the world. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for a future video about Tokyo. Bye.